let's take a trip back 50 years or so to see how this beloved icon came to be. Linton E. Allen, the chairman for Orlando's First National Bank, now the Sun Bank, is considered the father of the Centennial Fountain. It was through his efforts and ideas that the fountain took shape. Curt Stanton, the OUC chairman at the time, recalls how his friend and neighbor came up with the idea.
Well, I came in '47 and interviewed for assistant manager and was appointed general manager upon the death of the present general manager in January of '48, a position which I held until September of 1983, or 35 years. I, during that time, saw the utilities and the city grow tremendously. When I came here, I think our employment was about 150 people. We were worth about $10 million. And if we hung on the switches and be sure they didn't open, we could produce about 18,000 kilowatts. We had a commission meeting regularly, and at one, Mr. Allen's secretary called us and said that he would like to appear before the commission. And he would have with him Mr. Stuart Johnson, who at the time was the manager of the Orlando Chamber of Commerce. They came to the meeting, and when he spoke to the commission by telling them, to begin with, that he and Stuart Johnson had been to Washington for a meeting of the United States Chamber of Commerce, had stayed in a beautiful hotel, and out front was a beautiful fountain, many colors. He says, I think we ought to have one in Orlando. And since the Orlando Utilities Commission is in the water business, you should build a fountain. The day that was chosen was the 100-year age of Orlando, the Centennial. So the fountain in the beginning was named the Centennial Fountain. Later, the name was changed at the death of Mr. Allen to commemorate his foresight and ideas and certainly his contributions to the city. It was changed to the Linton E. Allen Memorial Fountain, but a lot of folks still call it the Centennial Fountain, either way. Well, the night we decided to start it up, obviously at night, so we could see the colors. When I was at the university studying engineering, I remember one afternoon in chemistry class, we were given a demonstration of fluorescence. And the way it was demonstrated was the instructor took a great big plastic bowl and he poured several water with certain chemicals in there. And then the last one, to get his effect, was one more while, and boy, it just really turned on bright, fluoresced. I got to thinking about that. Gee, wouldn't that make a spectacular way to start this thing? So we decided to do that, and our public relations person said, look, as long as we're doing this, you've got to pour 5 different kinds of water. Let's get water from the 5 countries when Florida was under 5 flags. And we did this. He got a sample of water from each one of those countries, and the last one was to be the United States, of course. And we put 2 electrodes in the water that was in the bowl, and the last one that went in would have acid in it that would allow the electricity to flow between the electrodes, thereby activating the switch that turned on the fountain. This was the theory. So we did this, but just to be on the safe side, I had one of our boys underneath that platform with a manual switch in case it didn't work. But it worked, and everybody just glowed. The fountain came on beautifully, and it was a wonderful evening.